So I just got done watching the last episode of the Uzumaki anime, and let me tell you, I'm bound to have a very unpopular opinion about this anime, because at the end of the day, despite what some of my critics might like to say sometimes, that I just follow trends and I say what people say, no, I often do agree with the popular opinion, but I'm someone who thinks My Home Hero is one of the decade's best anime, and I think 5 people and maybe a drunk uncle might agree with that statement. There's stuff that I like that many people don't. There's stuff that people rave about, and I say, what in God's name are you talking about? But at the end of the day, I do form my own opinion, and I firmly believe that, similar to a lot of internet culture, the Uzumaki anime got handpicked for certain scenes, and do those scenes look objectively bad and funny? No one will deny it. But the fact that most of these episodes were about a half-hour runtime, and yeah, I think probably a sixth of the time I would be able to say, yeah, like, production fell off on this show. You don't need the creators of the show to say that the production messed up. The difference between episodes 1 visual quality and 2 through 4 are a night and day difference. But does the anime look bad to me as the majority of the time? No. If this was a colored anime and not a black and white aesthetic, I probably would have a much different tune. But the black and white and the way the 3D was worked in this show, for the most part, actually worked for me. And it remained to be this creepy vibe over the course of it. And thinking about it, we're about a month into a lot of shows. Now, some shows, only a couple of episodes, just given how they started. But I would still argue the Uzumaki anime is the show I had the most fun covering both here and on Patreon, where I do my live reactions. I'd say on Patreon is one of the shows I've had the most fun covering just because of such a psychological mind trip. But at the end of the day, this show, yes, episode 4, there's a scene where the character falls down the well, or the giant spiral hole. And it's just a drag and drop. Like, that's all it is. And is that worth memeing? Sure. But did the entirety of the 30-minute episode look like that? No. We're in a season. This is my favorite sports series, and it pains me to admit this, but Blue Lock Season 2 is way worse produced and is getting way less criticism. Does the art of Blue Lock Season 2 look good? Absolutely. But there's no animation in the past couple of episodes. It's literally drag and drop the whole damn match. And then you have Uzumaki out here. Is there 3D? Yeah. When characters are flying in spirals, like, does it look like a little drag and drop? Of course. Meme that, criticize it. But in general, like, it was a show that actually moved. It didn't go into this abomination handshakers animation to me. And I truly feel like what happened, and this is what you see a lot online. You can disagree all you want, we can have different opinions, but based on what I see constantly, whether it's people who are just naturally hated online, so then people dogpile because, well, they're already a hated figure, so you're gonna dogpile even if the situation in question doesn't actually deserve a dogpiling. Or it's a show because I understand disappointment. People hoping we could finally have a Junji Ito anime that just looked like episode 1. But I don't know, man. Like, if I'm Junji Ito, seeing the entirety of this product, I wouldn't be disappointed myself. The other stuff that has been made from his works, absolutely. I don't like that. But this, to me, I don't know. And they actually delivered on the ending, which you can't say for a lot of shows with kind of, like, you knew you were getting a bad ending in terms of a hopeless, helpless thing. But if you do watch after the credits, after everyone seemingly dies, there actually is a very interesting message, which I think really tied the whole story together, because what ended up happening is a new town was rebuilt over the old one. And given that the whole show is about spirals, a loop, a cycle, the idea that whatever it is, whether it's, someone wanting to leave the town and that's what triggers the next event, or it's just a natural occurrence, at the end of the day, it continuously happens and they'll continuously rebuild, and the end result will always be the buildings looping and everything dying and starting again. And honestly, I think that's a really good message for the show overall. Because how would you defeat a spiral? Like, there's no way to physically beat it. And I think one of my things with a lot of horror movies is that often you have to do one of two things. You don't show the thing that is supposed to be scary because your imagination can be scarier than anything you see. Or if you do show it, like, you have to really think about how you defeat it. And sometimes it can feel pretty lame. So the idea that just they got screwed, like, I would like to believe if they decided to leave maybe in episode 1, maybe there was a chance, but it probably was looped already. Like, there was no getting out. And the idea of a final episode getting so cannibalistic where people are turning to snails, and it's just, this is probably the most unhinged thing I've seen in anime, period. At one point, dude turns into a snail and like cowers in the shell because, you know, they're all like, escargot, let's go eat. And he gets up in that shell and he's throating that thing more than a ditty party. It's I did not need to see that, but that shit was creepy. I will definitely say the first 2 episodes are the creepiest for me, but 3 and 4, while maybe not having as many moments, there's definitely was still moments that I'm like, what the fuck? I'm just like, am I seeing this right? Like, what the hell's going on? The idea that rather than your final episode really just being, because essentially you have the idea of jump scares, especially if you look at the first episode. They're not like really trying to like throw it in your face, but the dramatic detail is very much a jump scare level fear, right? So the idea that you pretty much have this last episode just being this, you feel like you're going crazy alongside the characters. Eventually they tried to leave and they just end up doing loops. And it's just this endless thing. The little brother just turning into a snail and, you know, trying to send him off. You know, the military coming in, just getting sucked up and swallowed by the ocean. Only to get led back to the town, which has aged however many years. One dude has remained sane. I mean, or I guess as sane as you can be given the circumstances. And everyone else is just mutated and causing the loop. The final shot and like I guess the final boss-like area, because once we get to the center of it all, is just, it's peak horror design. It's something that's so grotesque and creepy and oddly beautiful, this spiral nonsense. And I said it when I covered episode 2, you know, as creepy as those 2 lovebirds was, and you can meme their animation running to the beach all you want, but the idea of them actually getting, I guess, kind of like a kind of romantic send-off was, I thought, probably the best we would see for characters. But honestly, the Central 2 might have gotten an even better one because they got to just embrace each other, not swallowed up by the ocean, and just, it is what it is. But either way, I don't regret watching the Uzumaki anime. Like I said, I don't think there's anything wrong. If people truly just hated looking at the show just because that's how they felt, I don't see an issue with that. But I think it would be insane to try to admit that the internet didn't collectively dogpile select scenes and then in return act like the whole episodes were awful. There is 3D. There is a lot of 2D that you can be like, okay, does that look nearly as good? No, it's not even 25% as good as the first episode. The first episode's a different level of masterpiece. And in a perfect world, all 4 episodes would have looked like that had the production not been rushed out. I do not deny that. But to act like this is some 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10 anime is the most insane thing to me, because it legitimately looked and moved better than a lot of shows that people watched in the 90s or even early 2000s. Like, we have a society that would watch characters scream at each other and not move on screen for 20 minutes every week, but then get upset that an animation medium that moves very little actually still moved better than a lot of these shows from the past. I don't know, it's weird to me. I liked it. I'm a die on that hill. I expect a lot of people to call me an idiot because that's generally how it works when there's a collective dogpiling. All I'm saying is, I respect your opinion if you just truly didn't like it. I hope we can all collectively admit as an internet, it's usually dogpiling for the sake of dogpiling. That's just me. Let me know what you thought down below on the last episode, the show as a whole. What did you think? I still very much enjoyed it, and honestly, I see myself rewatching it in the near future. Shoot me. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course, ring that bell. Like I mentioned, we do have full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll just give you a video shout out. So today we got Michael Latham, Sleeping Night, Riptide, and we also have Valorix. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and you all have a good one.